Okay, so I couldn't figure out how to do the narration over the PowerPoint, so this is what I'm going to work with for now. But my topic was on adolescent parasocial relationships with influencers. So why did I choose this topic to write about? So I have a younger sister, and I noticed a trend where kids were receiving technology at a very younger rate than before. I used to work at a school as well, and I noticed sixth graders going out to seventh grade were also receiving technology. And I think statistically it is about 11.6 is the normal age where kids are receiving technology. And from 11 to 14 is that developmental growth where children or teenagers start to kind of pull away and try to be their own individualistic selves and try to find their own identity. And with technology and social media in general, there's a lot of influencing going on, and with influencing and finding your own identity, that sometimes just clashes. And so I wanted to see kind of how social media kind of affects that developmental growth, and see kind of if there is maybe a delay on that section of their lives. And that was kind of my biggest motivator to kind of research more onto this. But what was learned? So, as I went through my research, I kind of got surprised, but not, because as I was reading it, all these studies and what came out of it, I started to reflect on my own time as a teenager and realized that I had these moments too, which is, inevitable. Like, everyone goes through teenage life, but sometimes we forget we were once a teenager. So what I uncovered was just low self-esteem, holding influencers to an unrealistic standpoint, as well as losing real-life connections, and having a false belief on what life should look like and what life should be. And that is that. So self-esteem and emotion, as well as loss of connection, was the biggest trend that I saw throughout the studies. And one of the studies talked about FOMO, which is fear of missing out. Oftentimes, when these teenagers are constantly watching their favorite YouTuber, their favorite influencer, celebrity, they want to keep up, when you want to be posted on, everything that's going on around them. And if they feel like they're out of tune, it might make them have a fear of missing out, which has been linked to very bad emotions, as well as spending all this time watching these influencers and what they're up to. It can also just have a false connection, because oftentimes they'll feel like they know this person on a deeper level when in reality they don't know them at all, which has happened to me before as a teenager. And they're not typically, influencers are not your friends. They're not going to show you the good and the bad, which can give a sense of envy as well, because when you're constantly watching the good in someone's life, you don't see the bad, and then you start reflecting in your own life, and that can also give you some FOMO. So yeah. So going into more about worshipping influencers, like I said, they only show the good in their life. It's very glamorized. An influencer is typically not going to sit in front of a camera and show the bad or the background of their life, because that typically is not what fits their aesthetic, or is not going to renovate enough views and such, and is not a good look for their brand. And so when someone is only constantly seeing the good in their life, they want to be them. They want to, look like them, be like them, act like them, which once again is really bad for teenagers who are trying to find themselves already. And with that as well, there is, sorry, I lost my train of thought. There is a sense of envy again, there is that, once again, comparison is the thief of joy. If someone is constantly looking at someone else's life and then comparing it to theirs, that could also lead to a lot of bad emotions. All right, so counter argument. So obviously I'm definitely steering in one direction with my project, but I do want to be open and share other sides of what I've also found. And with worshiping, or not worshiping, but just following different influencers and hearing their success stories has proven to make teenagers feel as though they can succeed further in their life. There's lots of celebrities out there who have had amazing success stories, and people who, maybe teenagers who feel as though they were once in that spot in the beginning of their life, as a celebrity was once. They can achieve greater things, which is an amazing attribute for, teenagers to look at and think, hey, one day I could be there too. As well as that it does promote some social, another thing that I found was that it can promote like a better social life, better connections with other people if they can find people who like the same artists, who watch the same YouTubers, because you think about fan clubs, you think about fan accounts, you think about I know a lot of people who like K-pop like to get together and trade photo cards. Like, it does have a lot of social aspects to it as well, and it does have some benefits, but obviously there's more negatives than benefits, in my opinion. So solution. There isn't really a solution because it hasn't been tested for like its validity. Oh my gosh, I cannot speak today. But what I would suggest, from what I've seen, the trend of bad, we could always educate our youth. When we hand them a cell phone, like I said, we only talk about, cyberbullying, or we talk about strangers we find online, but we don't often talk about what we could see on social media and how it could definitely be false, because once we are handed a phone, we feel like we are connected with the world, and sometimes we see other people and we think that's how it is, and sometimes it's not. And educating our youth on that is going to be a big stepping stone, I think, to a more well educated and knowledgeable teenager, as well as encouraging less social media. This one's hard. I know this is what a lot of parents try to do, but with that, there has actually been a trend of social media that has come out that does encourage youth to go out and hang out with friends, to take pictures and share it. And one thing that I know is Laps. Laps is a big new social media that has come out to show, and it's basically just snapping moments with your friends and sharing it. No likes, no comments. It's just pure fun, and I think that trend is definitely going to help us shift a little bit. And then what surprised me, like I said it again, just reflecting back on my own life and while I'm reading this, has shown me that even though, teenagers are getting cell phones at a younger age, it does, no matter what the age is, I think as teenagers, we all fall back to the same things as FOMO and worshiping certain celebrities and stuff. And I don't know, I thought that was really surprising, because oftentimes we forget that we were once teenagers ourselves. And so that was my biggest surprise. Anyways, this is my reference. And yeah, thank you for watching.